All right. All right. Sorry I'm late. Had some stuff come up last minute, but well, hope everybody's having a good week thus far. We're just gonna wait a few minutes to give people a chance to come in. I'm gonna do something real quick before we get started, so I'm gonna turn on some music for a moment while I do that. Hopefully, we'll have some people come in soon. All right, I'm back. Anyways, as I said, we're just waiting on some more people to show up. So hopefully, they'll show up here soon. Um, on the mesa, where the cowboys roam, everyone wants to live by the code of the West. On the mesa. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. I'm gonna go off camera one more time to try to see what's coming here. All right. So, anyways, well, I hope everybody's having a good day this week. Let's see, we're now at the 7 minute mark. So let's see. Like father, like son, always number one. Yeah, there's buddies, there's pals, always seem to work things out. Can't you see they're two of a kind? Looking for a real good time. Or to the Goof Troop, and we always stick together. Yeah, we're the Goof Troop, best of friends forever. Yeah, we're the Goof Troop, and we always stick together. Yeah, we're the Goof Troop, best of friends forever. Now we're calling everyone. Come along and join the fun. Report to the Goof Troop. Bop now, do that, boop, bop. Yeah. All right, we have a third person here. And just in time, David, we're coming up on 8 minute mark, which will be a good time to start. If you haven't already, if you can like and share, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. With that, so tonight we're gonna go through 7 articles, all from CBR. Start off with 4 anime-related articles, and then do a couple of comic-related articles, and then a cartoon animated, Western anime. So we're going to look at the rumors behind the Bleach streaming exclusively on Disney Plus, as well as the best anime where the main couple breaks up but remain good friends. We're going to see that profile piece. Another profile piece we'll probably look at a little bit is from PA Works. So we're talking about Red Data Girl. And then we're going to also look at some shoujo characters who deserve a happy ending. Those are the first 4 articles, and then of course after that, a couple of comic-related articles include Harley Quinn celebrating 30 years, with Rocksteady hosting that. Let me see, what was the other comic-related article? Oh yeah, Stan Sakai is who is the of course the writer creator of Usagi Yojimbo will be manning an imprint for Dark Horse Comics. And then we got some King of the Hill news as the revamped series may not even air on Fox. Also, the WE and AEW roundups. And of course, this day meets history at the very end. So, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started here. Get started with the news. News. As I said, we're going to start off with some anime-related articles here. First one here regarding around Disney Plus's streaming of the latest Bleach arc. Let's see. What rumors of Bleach streaming exclusively on Disney Plus mean for anime fans? After months of silence regarding where the series will air, Bleach Thousand Year Blood War is rumored to be exclusively streaming on Disney Plus. Article by Guive Sami, published 23 hours ago. All right, so here we go. Among shonen anime, there are very few series as popular and beloved as Bleach, which is true. There's a few out there. Cementing itself as one of the big three. Bleach has enjoyed a level of success that most anime and manga could only even hope to achieve. This made the series anime adaptation premature cast. This made the series anime adaptation premature cancellation a decade ago rather surprising and unfortunate. Yeah, I mean it along with Dragon Ball and One Piece are the big three, as there was still one last arc left, meant to bring the entire series full circle. And I think that's the arc we're talking about here, Thousand Year Blood War. Thankfully, it was announced last year that the series would be returning, and fans couldn't be more excited. With Bleach finally getting the ending it deserves, as well as getting an expanded and reworked version of the manga. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War is shaping up to be the biggest release of the fall season. Surprisingly, there are rumors circulating that Bleach's return will ultimately be exclusive to a very unlikely service. Based off rumored reports, it seems like Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, will be streamed exclusively on Disney Plus, which is kind of disappointing because, of course, all the previous Bleach seasons were done on Cartoon Network and on Toonami. You know, it would have been nice to see Toonami get a chance to show it as well. But, while this would not be the first anime to be released on the platform, nor their first exclusive release, it would definitely be the streaming service's largest franchise. Currently, Disney Plus' biggest exclusive anime, Summertime Rendering, is arriving on the service with its first season more than halfway through. While the service offers other series such as Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer, Disney Plus was able to secure the exclusive streaming right for Bleach's new and final season, then that would easily dwarf all the service's other anime offerings. While this seems rather implausible, there is a chance that these rumors are actually true. When it comes to anime streaming, the main players tend to be Netflix, Hulu, and Crunchyroll. Normally, streaming rights would be handled by Hulu and Crunchyroll, which simulcast subbed episodes as they air in Japan, while Netflix waits for the entire, or either part of, or for the entire season to air, and then drop the completed series with multiple language options. So basically, what they're telling you then is between the two, Hulu and Crunchyroll will stop, meaning they'll broadcast both English subbed and dubbed versions at the same time when it comes out. whereas Netflix is waiting for the whole season to come out, then has it dubbed and then streams it. So while Disney Plus could theoretically secure the same kind of deal as those services, it would still be rather odd given how relatively new to anime the service is. However, thanks to Disney owning a majority of Hulu, it wouldn't be impossible for that connection to have acted as an opportunity for Disney Plus to acquire exclusive streaming rights to Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. Um, it also doesn't hurt that Disney actually surpasses Hulu in terms of how many markets it reaches and their aforementioned efforts to reach the anime market. It's important to note that as of now, there has been no official word as to the validity of these rumors. But really, that's part of the reason the rumors began circulating in the first place. With October rapidly approaching, there has there has been little to no word as to the official release of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Now, the reason why October is important. Now, okay, now as you all know, I did an open mic panel on Monday here, this past Monday, Labor Day, partly because one of the things I wanted to talk about was for many of us who are in our like 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe even some in late 30s there, we grew up in a time when the first week of now I don't know if it was this way for the entire country, the United States, but I know here in Southern California, I know a lot throughout much of the country, the first week of September was a big week for kids because you had you're going back to school, but also it was the week of it was basically the week of new cartoons. The TV season would start up. The new TV seasons started again, both on all levels, including cartoons. The week the usually the Saturday following Labor Day would be the day that, or sometimes even during Labor Day weekend would be the weekend that you would get the new Saturday morning cartoons, the new Saturday morning lineups on CBS, NBC, ABC. You'd have some independent networks. I got here in Southern California, we have like KCOP, KTTV, that might on KTL at the time KTLA, before all those stations got network deals of their own. But when they were still independent, they would have like they would purchase the broadcast rights to syndicated cartoons. Sometimes some shows were like first run syndication, like Transformers, like GI Joe, like Challenge. Well, Challenge of GoBots. I think Challenge of GoBots is another one too. Filmation had some stuff like He-Man, the Master of the Universe, She-Ra. Let's see what else from. Ghostbusters. Filmation's Ghostbusters. Um, you get the first week of September you get. So over in Japan, there's like 4 times a year where they will usually introduce new anime. The fall date falls in October. So for the fall releases, they happen in October. The winter releases happen in January. The spring releases happen in April, and then the summer releases happen in July. So 4 times a year there get new releases over in Japan. One of those months being October. That's why October is the key point will be made. So let's see. That's why they're making a big deal out of October here. This lack of information, combined with claims from credible anime influencers, is the origin of this rapidly growing rumor. Rather, um, all this aside, with October around the corner, it's likely the streaming plans for the series will be revealed at some point this September. Um, which also happens to be when rumors said said this would be confirmed. So okay, so it's a rumor right now that they may be streaming Bleach exclusively on Disney Plus, which again I think would be a bit disappointing considering that Bleach had always been on, Cartoon Network, always been on the Tsunami block. So why not finish the series on there? Um, but you know how corporations can be. Anyways, that's it for that article. So now we can probably get ready to move on to the next one. Let's see if anybody's dropped in yet. Say hi or anything like that. Nope. And apparently, well, somebody did drop in a like. I thank them for that. Oh, getting back to the articles then. And by shining a lot is because here in Southern California, where I live, we've been having quite a heat wave. So we've been over the last few days here, we've been in the high 90s to 100. So we've been getting the triple digits a little bit here. Anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article here. The best anime where the main couple breaks up but remain good friends. Not all anime couples are destined to stay together. However, they don't always have to stay on bad terms following a breakup either. Article by Erica Hennessy, published 13 hours ago. So you got probably two of the more well known couples of anime there in Sasuke and Sakura um, and Serena and Darien, aka Usagi and Mamoru. Okay. In the anime world, it is very common for at least one of the main characters to have an implied love interest. One example being Demon Slayer's Zenitsu having an overzealous crush on Tanjiro's sister, Nezuko. Often fans hope that the two will end up together or at least see some flirting between them. The only thing is about okay, the thing about Zenitsu and Nezuko, and yes, Nezuko is very cute. Okay, don't get me wrong, but she's also been turned into a demon. It's like she's trying to suppress those demonic urges in her. They're trying to, Tanjiro. That's what Tanjiro is trying to do. He's trying to save the system from becoming like a full-on demon. You know, um, so that kind of complicates things, at least in that one. Most of the time, these characters do get together canonically. However, being in a relationship does not necessarily guarantee they will last until the end. And some have even broke up during the middle of the anime. Yeah, and then there have been some where you had couples. There were couples at the beginning. They'll break up for a little while, and then they get back together. Had some of that going on too. But on the contrary, breakups do not always have to be disastrous, and Characters might even mutually decide on splitting up. Not every anime couple is meant to be, but there is always the choice for them to stay friends. Sailor Moon, Mamoru's will to protect Usagi. Yes, I remember this particular storyline all too well. So it was during, I believe it was during the Black Moon Clan arc, in which they were sending dreams to Mamoru, who in the English dub was named in the deep dub was named Darien. Um, they're sending dreams to him that if he stayed with Usagi, she would end up suffering a horrible death. And so, in order to keep that from happening, he would try to distance himself from her. So when I saw this, I kind of remembered that particular story. So, anyway, although they did not get along well during the majority of the original Sailor Moon anime's first season, star-crossed Usagi and Mamoru eventually fell in love after recalling their past lives and realized they were destined to be together. However, this is cut short when Mamoru starts to have what is later revealed to be false visions of Usagi meeting her doom. Like I just said, not wanting her to get hurt, decides to break up with her in hopes to prevent this ominous future. While Usagi is naturally upset by this, she didn't let it get her down and continued to perform her duties as a sailor guardian. Thankfully, she and Mamoru were able to reconcile later on. Yeah, again, one of those things that they broke up and they um, Dragon Ball Z, Bulma and Yamcha were a classic example of toxicity. Oh God. Uh, yeah. Fans who remember Dragon Ball Z can't forget the power couple that is Bulma and Vegeta. However, they were not always together, with Bulma's first partner being the nervous Yamcha. Given Yamcha's desire to get married, despite his shyness around women, and Bulma being a free spirit that wished to see the world, their clashing personalities would eventually lead their romance to its end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean when they first met in the original Dragon Ball and then continued to Z. Excuse me a moment, folks. All right, my dog is barking again, so I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, so we continue on with the article here now. While Yamcha was initially jealous of Bulma's relationship with Vegeta, he chose to support them and their son Trunks, becoming a good friend to the family. Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke's relationship was mostly one-sided until they ended up getting married and bringing Sanada into the world in Boruto. But anyways, the long-running classic Naruto is no exception in showcasing destructive relationships. Sakura has shown her admiration and romantic interest in Sasuke from the very beginning. She even went so far as to ditch her best friend and do whatever she thought he liked, believing he would eventually return her feelings. Yeah, that's kind of what happened between her and Ino. They both were wishing to grow stronger. Sasuke left Sakura behind to train with Orochimaru, despite her pleas for him to stay with her. Although she was unmistakably heartbroken, Sakura's feelings for Sasuke remained unchanged, and she was fine with taking things easy with him for the time being. It wasn't until Sasuke returned from a war that the two were able to strengthen their friendship, causing him to finally love her back. And I think what they're talking about, of course, is where they're at in the current showing of the anime on Tsunami right now. Um, in the midst of I guess it was the Fourth Great War, the whole Tsukiyomi arc, and that's it. Those are the only two couples that they talked about here. Come on, I know there's got to be more. Okay, three couples. Only those three couples. All right, I'm sorry. They could have done more. They could have done more. I'm sure there's at least one or two more they could have added in there. Three couples there. Probably the three most famous couples, of any of them, that we would probably look to. But anyways, yeah. So that's it for that one. Let's get ready to move on to the next article here. Yeah, and I just think that art. Well, the thing about these articles too is that they can be a little on the short side at times. So, and I thought that one was a little short. They could have probably found another couple or two to work in there as well. Um, just my opinion, but anyways, RDG. Okay, so the next article here, RDG Red Data Girl remains one of PA Works' most unusual anime. PA Works, I believe, is one of the publishing companies from Japan there. So PA Works is well known for producing incredible series like Angel Beats and another. But RDG Red Data Girl is by far the weirdest. Yeah. Well, Angel Beats is pretty weird in of itself. Kind of a weird take on Purgatory, I believe, is what Angel Beats was. But anyways, every anime studio has their hallmarks. These signature techniques, flourishes, and plot beats often make it obvious what studio worked on a series. However, this doesn't mean that the studios don't sometimes create something out of left field. Um, a show that is the exact opposite of their typical style, something that sticks out when placed next to the other work. For PA Works, this project is RDG Red Data Girl, or Red Data Girl. PA Works is a beloved studio that loads of hit anime under their belt. Loads of anime hits under their belt. Most recently, yeah, I think there's a little bit of a word usage or typing error there. But anyways, most recently they were praised for their work on Ya Boy Kong Kong Ming, your boy Kong Ming, and they previously had success with another and the smash hit Angel Beats. They're famous for magical realism stories that blend the fantastical with the mundane. They're also known for their comedy, with their most beloved shows featuring many wacky comedy moments and over the top silly scenarios. This is very noticeable in Ya Boy Koming, as the series blended the magical with the mundane and featured some incredibly outlandish comedy setups. Now, before we continue here, I think I am going to need to make some lighting adjustments here, so I'll be right back. I'll turn on some music for you, and I'll be right back. Alrighty then. So, getting back to the articles here. Back to the article here. However, 2013's RDG Red Data Girl doesn't follow this pattern. Based on a series of novels written by Noriko Ogiwara, the story follows 15-year-old Izumiko Suzuhara. Izumiko isn't your regular teenager, that she was raised at the isolated Tamakura Shrine high in the mountains. On top of this, um, she destroys any electronic device she touches, and this is a massive issue in the modern world. So she's got apparently she's got powers similar to Jubilee from X-Men. Jubilation Lee. Got another Jubilation Lee right here. Let's see. Where technology is everywhere. Okay. However, despite these issues, Izumiko wants to try and live in the city. and her guardian, Yuki Nasa Sagara, relents and lets her do so. Yuki Nasa suggests that Izumi enrolls in Tokyo's Hojo High School and that she go to the school with his son Miyuki Sagara so he can act as her protector. However, Miyuki and Izumiko hate each other, making this a very uneasy relationship. Yeah, I mean, if they don't like each other, she's not probably too keen on the fact that he probably has to hover around her to protect her. He's not probably too keen on the fact that he actually has to protect her, because his dad asked him to. So that can cause some unneeded stress. Things quickly turn strange when several supernatural events start happening around the school, and Izumiko's past gets revealed. RDG, Red Data Girl, isn't without some of PA Works' hallmarks. Show is set in the modern day to feature supernatural elements. Show heavily focuses on what happens when contemporary life and the supernatural clash. However, the tone is very different from the tone usually found in PA Works' other series. The show is very moody and atmospheric, with little to no comedy. And RDG, Red Data Girl, few humorous moments, use a drier style of comedy, a style based on character interactions rather than wacky set pieces. So basically, like, I think one of the things they're talking about, one common gag that gets used a lot in anime is the proverbial walking in on somebody like in the bath or something like that. Usually a girl's in the bath and the guy just kind of, without even thinking, will just go into the bathroom when a girl is naked. And really, oops. This is also reflected in the characters and their interactions. Most of the characters start off quite cold and mysterious, a far cry from the instantly likable characters that had many of PA Works' other shows. That lead many of PA Works' other shows. The show is heavy on dialogue, featuring a lot of slow and detailed conversations about Japanese culture and mythology. Again, and that kind of makes some amount of sense after all. You're talking about a girl who is basically raised in an isolated area in a shrine, and probably isn't really, she's, she may have a lot of head knowledge, as they call it. She may know a lot of facts, but she doesn't have like the experience or the street wisdom to know just how to apply those facts. So, or certain other subtleties in that. So fans who enter RDG expecting a roller coaster ride might find themselves quickly put off by the series. While the show does get more thrilling as it continues, it never reaches the level of PA Works' other, shows. The difference is carried through to the visual style. While this still looks like a PA Works series, it uses a much more muted color palette for most scenes. So, in other words, it may not be as bright as some of the other PA Works, but then again, it may not be meant to be that bright from the sounds of it. Sounds like this is an anime among an anime that has a darker tone to it a little bit. Darker, maybe more morose, maybe more sardonic. While some scenes are colorful, they are in the minority, with many scenes being darker, or shadowy, helping to build the show's quiet, moody, and contemplative atmosphere. So, to me, this sounds very, okay, maybe not as dark and moody and shadowy, but I sense some Boogie Pop Phantom in this. Granted, Boogie Pop Phantom is a bit more extreme than what they're talking about here, but I get the feeling that this one has at least may trend in that particular direction. The Boogie Pop Phantom. Doesn't just go as far as Boogie Pop Phantom does with the aesthetics of it. Let's see. However, the show does feature some breathtaking moments with some establishing shots and landscape vistas being truly magnificent. RDG Red Data Girl is a fascinating show. Stands out when put next to the rest of PA Works' catalog, but it also stands out when put against most other anime up from the time. The slow pace and the moody atmosphere are unique, and the storyline is fascinating, featuring plenty of mystery and suspense. While it won't be everyone's taste, if you like slow, moody, character-driven mysteries, and Red Data Girl is a show you should try. While long-term PA Works fans will find the show hard to get into, those willing to try something different will be treated to a unique series. RDG Red Data Girl now streaming on Funimation, which will probably end up going over to Crunchyroll soon enough. Hello, you fool. I love you. One join. All right. So, anyways, now getting ready to get on to the. I go on to next article. I think the next article will be the last. You're going to be the last of the anime articles for tonight. Let's see where we're at on time here. I'm actually going to step away from the computer for a quick moment. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back now. Here we go. The last of the anime. We're at the 50 thing. Having a good time here over here. Alrighty then. So, 3 shoujo characters who deserve a happy ending. Mature shoujo manga doesn't have to have depressing endings. There are 3 shoujo characters who deserve happy endings. Article by Courtney McClure, published 10 hours ago. So anyway, the shoujo demographic is mostly known for representing high school romances and naive first dating experiences. However, there is much more to shoujo series than problematic and overrated tropes. Oh boy, you can tell where this burn is coming from. um, and for those who prefer dark, gritty narratives, they don't shy away from discussing topics like death and trauma. Shoujo has plenty to offer. That said, there are plenty of characters in shoujo that were robbed of their opportunity to have a happy ending. Here are 3 characters in shoujo who deserve better. So before I do that, I'm going to step away one more time. Um, Right, I'm back. So here we go. Let's get into the characters here. Ash Link, Banana Fish. Banana Fish is a unique shoujo and strays away from typical shoujo tropes like high school romance, often feeling more like shonen to some fans. The story of Banana Fish follows Aslan Callenreese, um, better known as Ash Link. Ash is um, anything but your typical high school senior. He's a gang leader who frequents the streets of New York. In the beginning, a few of Ash's gang members decide to turn on him. He receives a mysterious drug from a stranger. Before Ash can truly investigate the drug, he meets Eiji Okamura, the Japanese youth who came to America with his family friend Ibe Shunichi to take pictures for a magazine for um, for the magazine Ibe works for. Banana Fish features themes of repeated childhood essay and of course gang violence. So this series isn't something to pick up for light reading. Ash has lived a life full of trauma, undergoing seemingly endless cycles of SA since the age of 8. Despite all of it, he manages to keep it together and make a name for himself as a feared gang leader on the streets of New York. The mangaka, Akimi Yoshida, tells a heartwarming story about people choosing to push past their trauma or drown in it. Of course, the tragic twist of fate that befalls Ash is not easily forgotten. Ash deserved a happy ending when he pushed through his trauma and escaped it in a healthy way, not through death. Who are satisfied with the ending may argue the only way Ash could truly escape the trauma he experienced was in death. Regardless, Banana Fish is a great story, but any new fans should be aware and prepared for angst. Ash's death may not have pleased many fans, but most can agree he deserved a happy ending. Anti-Himemia from Revolution Girl. Man, I've seen this series. That's another kind of weird one. Revolution Girl. That one's kind of a little off kilter as well. Just in how kind of relationships interact with one another. Yeah, some questionable imagery and symbolism there. So now getting Revolution Girl Utena, well known among anime fans for its distinct art style and story. The series deserves its massive cult following for the way it handles traumatic subjects like familial abuse and SA. Utena is similar to Banana Fish because it deals with TSA and other forms of trauma, while still being categorized as a shoujo. Revolutionary Girl Utena is a series about a tomboyish high school student named Utena Tenjo. When Utena was little, she was quote unquote rescued by a prince, who was so impressed by him that she vowed to become a prince herself. Her mission is put on hold when she's sucked into countless duels for a girl named Anti-Himemia, also known as the Rose Bride. Now, of course, there's a lot, for those of you, a little heads up here, there is a lot of pro LGBT stuff in here, so keep that in mind. One of the core themes of Utena is how, despite how hard the titular Utena fights to save Anthe, it does no good unless Anthe can see herself as a person worth saving. The ending of Utena is a bit unclear, especially if you're watching the anime for the first time. In the end, Utena sees the true, quote unquote, true Anthony, in a coffin and reaches out her hand, only for Anthony to pull herself out of the coffin. This scene represents Anthony escaping the hold her brother, Akio Otori, has on her, breaking the toxic, quote unquote, relationship they shared. After the illusion dissipates, supposedly leaving Utena injured in the hospital, there's a rumor floating around the school that Utena transferred to another school. And then Anthony leaves the school too, supposedly to search for Utena. Anthony deserves a happy ending because she's a great example of a fictional character discontinuing an abusive cycle and working to redefine herself. However, the ending of the series does a pretty good job at giving her an assumed happy ending. And then finally, Takuma Kakenochi, um, I Give My First Love to You. One I haven't seen or read before. So, oh, we're up to three people now. Okay, well, from one to three. Cool. Alrighty then. So we're finishing up. Okay, so let's get into this then. I Give My First Love to You is a shoujo manga by Kotomi Aoki that tells the story of two childhood friends, Takumi Kakenochi and Mayu Taneda. Takuma has had an unnamed heart condition since he was a child and has been taken care of by Mayu's father, Dr. Taneda. Um, when Takuma finds out he probably won't live past the age of 20, he gives up on pursuing Mayu, thinking she doesn't deserve to be with him because of his short life expectancy. The majority of the manga focuses on the complicated relationship between Mayu and Takuma, as regardless of their feelings, Takuma keeps pushing Mayu away. There are also a few other obstacles keeping the two apart, like their uncooperative mothers and Mayu's ex-boyfriend, Ko Suzuya. Akuma's condition slowly worsens as he grows older, and he soon learns he will eventually need a heart transplant in the near future. After an accident, Takuma receives his upperclassman's heart and undergoes surgery. His surgery takes place within the last few pages of the manga, concluding by blanking out Takuma's heart monitor. The ending is left open to interpretation, showing Mayu and Takuma standing with two kids in a clover field. There are two possibilities. Takuma survived the surgery, recovered, married Mayu and had two children, or he died and the scene is his fantasy. That's a very interesting way of doing it. See if you and as always, of course, if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. Let's see. Ito, hey Rick, and hey Chris. Yeah, it is. Heidi is here. All right, so yeah, so as we're and if you guys can like and share the stream. We'll get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Um, anyways, as we are, let's see. So, aside from the manga, a live action film adaptation was produced in 2009. The film follows the same premise, but some events were changed for the film's adaptation. The ending is slightly different. Takuma has a heart attack and dies, concluding with um, Mayu marrying his ashes. Okay, that's a very interesting way of doing something like that. Marry, okay, so you fall in love with a guy who is destined to have a short life. So what do? You marry his ashes. So Revolution Girl Utena, Banana Fish, and I Give My First Love to You are just a few of these unconventional shoujo works. However, even if a story is considered dark by fans, that doesn't mean the characters don't deserve a happy ending. All right, good point there. All right, so that's the conclusion of the anime portion of anime slash manga portion of the news articles here. Now we're going to look into some couple of comic articles here. Let's see, okay. And as always, guys, if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the conversation or have any questions or anything, feel free to ask, respond. Um, got a couple of comic articles here. We'll start with this one. Rocksteady celebrates Harley Quinn's 30th and Women in Gaming with Amanda Connor art. So remember, Harley Quinn was introduced in the Batman the Animated Series, which happened back in 1982. That would have been 30 years ago. So here we go. Harley Quinn turns 30, and Rocksteady celebrates the star of its upcoming Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game with a special piece of art. Article by Jeremy Blum, published 8 hours ago. Harley Quinn ditches her Task Force X teammates for a video game controller in a unique piece of art shared by Rocksteady Studios, in celebration of the character's 30th anniversary and the ongoing Women in Games Global Festival. Drawn by Amanda Connor, who has illustrated Harley regularly since 2014, the illustration shows the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League star sitting atop her teammates Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. Quote, massive thanks to legendary comics artist Amanda Connor, who made this brilliant piece showing Harley dominating her squad mates in a quote, in a small quote, friendly game, end quote, wrote Rocksteady Studios Twitter account, which shared the artwork. Quote, Amanda has drawn some of our favorite interpretations of Harley, and we love seeing her take on the look from our game. So leave that right. Uh, Rocksteady's contribution to Harley's look. Let's see if you guys have seen anything here thus far. Nothing new there, but if you're all still here, so that's cool. All right, Rocksteady Studios is the company behind the popular Batman Arkham series, which began in 2009 with Batman Arkham Asylum and finished in 2015 with Batman Arkham Knight. Harley Quinn has appeared in every game in the franchise, and her outfit in Arkham Asylum, a black and red corset and a domino mask that left her blonde locks relatively free, marked a significant change in the character's um, appearance. Previously, Harley is usually shown in full Jester's bodysuit. Um, a look she first sported during her debut in the Batman the Animated Series episode Joker's Favor, which aired in 1992. Again, 30 years ago. That's the one where Joker got into it with a guy named Charlie Collins, and basically became his tormentor for a while there, and ended up having to get him to help him with a particular job that Batman ended up saving them all from. So, anyways, following Harley's new outfit in Arkham Asylum, DC would continue to revise the character design with the company's New 52 reboot, eventually settling on the colorful yet maskless appearance popularized by actor Margot Robbie in the movie Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad. Harley boasts a similar design in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was delayed to 2023 and is set to be a next generation console exclusive, releasing on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S. Okay. Women in Games is a not-for-profit organization that supports women in the video game industry. 2022 Women in Games Global Festival runs from September 6th, which was yesterday, to 17th. 17th would be a week from this Saturday. And kicked off with an in-person launch party in London. Events in this year's festival include career and networking opportunities, a roundtable discussion on women's well-being, and discussion of their experience of women gaming across the African continent. All right, so there we go with that one. Very good. All right, so here's our next article here, our last comics article. Then we'll have one animation article, and then we'll get into the wrestling roundup. So let's see, we're already at an hour 16. That should be pretty good. All right, so Usagi Yojimbo creator Stan Sakai launches imprint at Dark Horse Comics. Dogu Publishing will expand the universe and legacy of Stan Sakai's long-running Usagi Yojimbo series, which has been in publication since 1987. Usagi Yojimbo creator Stan Sakai is bringing a new imprint to Dark Horse Comics entitled Dogu Publishing. Quote, I am very excited, honored, and thankful to have my own publishing imprint with Dark Horse, unquote, Sakai said. Quote, as the sole creator and owner of Usagi Yojimbo, this is a significant milestone. Who is leading Dogu Publishing? Sakai praised Dark Horse Comics publisher Mark Richardson for his pioneering role in the comics business and added he was very thankful for the new team at Dogu Publishing, CEO Jeremiah Blank, COO Julie Sakai, and President Daniel Fuji. Sakai and Fuji was critical when it came to working on the deal with Netflix that led to Samurai Rabbit Usagi Chronicles, an animated series that features characters inspired by Usagi Yojimbo. Now, Usagi, I believe, is the Japanese word for rabbit. That's why, like in Sailor Moon, she sometimes gets called rabbit, or like Chibi Usa, or Rini, as we sometimes call her in English, get called Little Rabbit. Chibiusa. Little Rabbit. Let's see. Sakai added that Julie Sakai, his wife, would be working on more Chibi Usagi stories for Dogu Publishing, which would be colored by Emi Fuji, her daughter. So we have quite a family affair here, the Fuji family here. The Fuji Sakai family here. We have quite a family here of um, quite a family affair there. Quote, having Julie, Daniel, Jeremiah, and Emmy step into the business and creative support roles has been a welcome addition to my brand. The guy said, quote, being the sole creative Usagi Yojimbo takes a tremendous amount of time and responsibility. I still write hand-drawn and hand-letter each story. Because of this new synergy, I am able to continue to do what I love most, create more Usagi Yojimbo stories. We feel that through the imprint with Dark Horse, an expanded Usagi universe becoming a reality, unquote. Richardson said Dark Horse was happy to welcome Stan back to the company. Usagi Yojimbo has switched publishers multiple times over the years, but was released by Dark Horse Comics throughout the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. The creator-owned Usagi Yojimbo series is currently published by IDW. Quote, it is with great excitement that we welcome back Stan Sakai and Usagi Yojimbo to the Dark Horse family, Richardson said. Quote, Stan is one of comics' legendary creators, and we are extremely proud to announce the launch of Dogu Publishing, unquote. Usagi Yojimbo is a series based on a character that Sakai first devised in 1984 in publication in 1987. The series stars a rabbit warrior in a fantasy version of Japan full of anthropomorphized creatures, samurai, and warring nations. Sakai has won numerous accolades for the series since its inception, including 10 Eisner Awards. Wow, pretty impressive. Comic spin-offs based on Usagi Yojimbo include Space Usagi, the futuristic limited series starring a descendant of the main character, and Chibi Usagi, a graphic novel featuring stylized, super cute versions of Usagi and his friends. Yeah. Chibi usually means cutesy or childlike. Anyways. All right, so that's the last of the comic articles. So now we have one we're doing from as an animation one. This one right here. Does anybody? No. Again, guys, feel if anything catches your interest, you want to comment on anything, or or if you have any questions, feel free to chime in at any point. All right, so let's see. All right, King of the Hill's long anticipated revival will not air on Fox. Fox Entertainment president Michael Thorne confirms that the animated revival of King of the Hill will not be returning to its original network. Article by Emily Zogby, published 4 hours ago. King of the Hill will not return to Fox. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the revival of King of the Hill will not be returning to its original network, though co-creator Mike Judge confirmed that the animated series still, quote, has a very good chance, unquote, of happening. Quote, that's not going to be with Fox, unquote. Fox Entertainment president Michael Thorne said, quote, we love that team. We love that show. It's obviously part of our animation legacy. But we're really focusing on animation, um, is launching the next wave of our signature animated series while still having our great legacy shows. Unquote. It was revealed in January 2022 that King of the Hill co-creators Judge and Greg Daniels were in the early stages of development on a revival of the fan favorite animated sitcom through their animation company, Bandera Entertainment. At the time, it was stated that the company would, quote, rather keep the specifics under wraps for now, unquote, for the entire original run of the King of the Hill from 1997 to 2009. The series was produced by 20th Century Fox TV, which is now owned by Disney under the name 20th Century. According to Thorne, the reason the series won't return to Fox is that the network would prefer to partially or outright own any series that it airs. So basically, they don't want to bring in anything that they don't own or don't have any control over. King of the Hill must find a new home. Quote, we're really focused on what are the new shows that we believe can creatively break out, that we also have a significant ownership stake in, and if not outright own 100% of it, Thorne said. Quote, and on a show like King of the Hill, which we love, there's really no opportunity for us to have an ownership stake in the show. It's not a move we can make as we grow out our next wave of animation. Our ownership is so crucial to the long running success of these series. So basically, they said that since they can't have any part of the ownership, they don't want it. They don't want it. They want to be able to have some control of it. If they can't have control of it in any form or whatever, they don't want it. That's basically what they're saying. It is kind of bad, kind of sad for them because it's like obviously this was a popular show, and as long as they don't go full on woke with it, um, it could be a very successful running show. You know, it really appealed to a lot of people. I think King of the Hill originally was a show that appealed more to like the southeastern part of the country, you know, the deep south, and I think it would have that same appeal now. So, created by Judge and Daniels, King of the Hill originally premiered on Fox in 1997, where it ran for 255 episodes across 13 seasons. So let's see, 255 across 13 seasons. So that's what, one, three, so one, 45 divided by 13, 9. So about 19, 20 episodes a season, basically. Just under 20 episodes a season. When you think about it. Now I know that the math, well, 2007, from 1997 to 2009, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so just shy of 20 episodes a season on average. Before finally coming to an end in 2009. 4 additional episodes of season 13 were aired in 2010. The series followed the Hill family Hank, who's voiced by Mike Judge, wife Peggy, who was voiced by Kathy Najimy, who also was one of the original witches of Eastwick um, in that movie, and their son Bobby, who is voiced by Pamela Adlon, and their small town life in Arlen, Texas. Rumors of a potential King of the Hill revival have been circulating since 2017. Time of writing, it is unclear where King of the Hill revival will air. Though it does appear to still be in development, Cartoon Network Adult Swim regained the rights to the series in 2021, where the original run of the series returned syndication. Reruns of the show currently air on FXX and Adult Swim. The series is available to stream in full on Hulu. So yeah, Cartoon Network on their Adult Swim, they could use it as an original series there, making it part of that. So, anyways, that's all the articles I have for you guys tonight. Um, Hello, you fool, I love you. I'm going to joyride, join the joy ride, yeah. All right, so with that, we're done with all the articles tonight. We do have the wrestling roundup to do. We got a lot of major news coming out of particularly AEW. I mean, we had some news from WWE as well, but a lot of the bigger news that's been happening going on over at AEW. So we'll be quite a bit about that tonight. But first out, let me just go over some of the quickies. So Braun Strowman has apparently returned to WWE as of this past Monday Night Raw, albeit it looks like they're going to put him over on SmackDown as a face. There's some talk that they may be getting ready to put him in a program right away with Roman Reigns right away. And after the disappointment that that a lot of the UK fans felt over Drew McIntyre not winning the title, people wonder if Strowman will just be used as fodder for Reigns or something like that, or will they finally take the title off of um, okay. Wow, some very interesting things have happened. Oh wow, the fallout from. All right, we'll probably learn more about that tomorrow. But anyway, so of course the WWE news, as I said, the big news was Braun Strowman returning to the WWE. Um, that was a big WWE news. Now AEW. Now I just saw some stuff when I was looking over. I just took a quick peek at Cage Match. Looking up. They already have the results up there for tonight's matches. The only two matches that were previously announced were Death Triangle taking on Best Friends and in just a trios match originally, and then and Daniel Garcia taking on Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure title. Now, mind you, what I just saw on there. So it was reported earlier today that that there were some suspensions going down. Adam Page. I'm sorry, not Adam Page. Kenny, the members of the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, the three executive vice presidents, as well as producer Pat Buck and and Christopher Daniels, one of the other producers, coaches, what have you, they were all suspended due to what happened after All Out on Sunday. Now, from what I just saw on CageMatch.com, the results from what I saw tonight, apparently the trios match got turned into a World Trios title. So I guess with them being suspended, of course, they stripped them of the title. So it was basically a World Trios title match for the vacated World Trios titles match, because now what also apparently happened, I saw here, there's now an AEW World Title tournament going on. CM Punk had just won the AEW World Title from Jon Moxley at All Out, and then got into a physical altercation backstage. So it would be logical to assume then that they have stripped Punk of the title. Now, it was not reported earlier. Now, again, a lot of this now, what I'm going to be saying here is more speculation on my part, based on what I'm seeing here. I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow. Probably hear more about it. I'll probably see more about it, from WrestleMania when they report on it tomorrow. They may even report on it tonight, because this is probably a big story. There was some talk that they may, in fact, be letting Punk go. They may be firing Punk. There's been some other sources that have said that WWE did not want Punk back, and have basically stated that AEW, they can have that headache. They kind of like, as I've been talking about the last few days, is a lot of this stuff has been going. I think the last 2 or 3, a lot of this stuff going down right now is that there's a lot of heat going on backstage at AEW, and I know WrestleMania reported on like some of the the honeymoon's over. They have a lot of guys who are not happy. There are some other minor issues going on. Like, guys are just not happy with how they're being booked, and it is spilling over. But there are some bigger issues revolving around Punk. Punk has seemingly been at odds with a number of the guys, including Hangman Adam Page. That was that whole mess when he initially won the AEW title back at Forbidden Door before getting injured in that match. Of course, there was some heat between him and Colt Cabana. He and Colt Cabana used to be best friends, and they had a falling out, and there were some rumors that it was Punk who actually pressured AEW to move Cabana over to the Ring of Honor brand as of well. The issue that happened on Sunday that led to that big fight we all heard about, and there was a rumor today too that the Young Bucks supposedly kicked in Punk's locker room door when he wouldn't answer after they went to confront him about what he said about them during the media scrum. So there's a lot of heat. Now, again, a lot of this is just speculation on my part, just based on what little I know. I'll probably have more detailed information, more accurate, detailed information tomorrow once everything's been settled. But there have been some issues there the past few months, and I know, and I've been very critical, and I was even saying, hey, look, rather than putting the title on him and placating him, maybe you just need to let Punk go. And it would seem there are a lot of people out there who agree with that sentiment, that CM Punk. Now, granted, he's not necessarily. There's other issues there too. There's some issues with the booking. And a lot of fans have complained about the booking too. And but then I've always said that right now, the way Tony Khan is running that company, he's making it too top heavy. He's got a lot of guys who and a lot of promotions would be at the top of the card. Now, granted, a lot of indie promotions would be at the top of the card, you know, um, or working their way towards the top of the card, you know. Then when you have situations like you have Jake Hager not going after any titles and just being, and just being exclusively like Chris Jericho's muscle guy, and Chris Jericho sends Jake Hager out to when I personally could see a Hager Castagnoli feud over the Ring of Honor title. One of my huge criticisms in the whole thing with Ring of Honor and just in how the titles are being dealt with right now is that you also like Ring of Honor in particular. All six titles right now that are active are all held by um, faces right now. Now, granted, I know Tony Khan is trying to work a deal out, trying to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor, trying to do all that. Um, and maybe that's why he's doing that. But you need balance. You need balance. I mean, now after all that, they did. Granted, I didn't like some of the results, but at least they balanced it out a little bit. It was initially going into going into all out. They had 7 titles. Only one of them was held by a heel, Jade Cargill. You kind of did balance it out here after at all out, but then the whole incident with Punk and the elite and the thing is too, part of the issue with the elite as well is that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, these guys are the core of AEW. Okay, these are the guys who came in from the get go, along with Cody Rhodes. The 4 of them were basically the core of the company. They were the building blocks of the company. Cody left for unknown reasons. Nobody knows why he left. Kenny Omega has been out a, for a year, I think, or for a long time because he just came back from injury. Now he gets suspended over this incident again. The Young Bucks were, now granted, now people are, even though there was a rumor saying that the Young Bucks kicked down CM Punk's locker room door, I know a lot of people don't necessarily believe it because these guys are in management. They wouldn't, they wouldn't do that. And if they did, then that's very unprofessional. But then a lot of people are arguing that Punk has acted very unprofessionally as well. So you got a lot of this drama. Now, again, that's the main thrust of the drama right now. But you also have there's also some other like more milder issues. Again, going back to the booking. Now I know when I was on RJ's open mic a few weeks ago, you saw me and James Lee talking about that, and he's talking, well, some of those guys are injured, and that may be true. Some of them may be injured, but you still have a lot. I mean, Bobby Fish left the company because he felt he wasn't being used. Okay, there were some rumors. Malachi Black was also asking for his release. It has since been confirmed that he's not being released, or he's not asking for his release as much. He's asking for time off to tend to some personal issues, some mental issues. So that seems to be what's going on with Malachi Black. But aside from that, we also heard, we also heard last week or a couple weeks ago, there was an issue that started up between Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. Now, initially, there was going to be, I think, some kind of feud between Kingston and Soho on one side, and Guevara and Ty Mallow on the other, who recently got married in real life. And then something happened where I guess in a promo, Sammy Guevara called Eddie Kingston a fat piece of feces. Eddie Kingston was more or less because advising, hey, look, you don't necessarily want to be calling me a fat piece of feces because it wouldn't look good because I guess in a match they were going to have, Kingston was going to get the win. I guess was booked to get the win, and then he was telling, hey, son, you may not want to call me a fat piece of feces because it wouldn't look good for you to get beat by a fat piece of feces. And that led to some kind of physical altercation between those two. And then you've heard a lot of rumblings too, again, about guys and their booking and all that. So there's just a lot of backstage drama going on in EW right now. And the Triple H now coming in, now taking over creative, now that Vince McMahon has basically stepped down, Triple H, Hunter has started to make his mark on Raw at least, maybe even SmackDown too. And that's not a good thing for AEW. For AEW to be collapsing like this is not a good thing for them right now. There's also been accusations from AEW's side that the WWE has been like trying to pirate their talent. They're trying to talk to them while guys are still under contract with them. So this is obviously a developing story. Something to keep an eye on here. Now we're coming up on an hour 45, so it's probably a good time to start winding things down a bit. And again, I'll of course, along with some of the articles I'll read tomorrow, so that I'll probably have more accurate, detailed information on the whole thing going on with AEW tomorrow. Once I've seen some of the news coverage from WrestleMania and all that. So with that, probably a good time to start winding down here today, being Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. Why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in Niche history. History! So let me just review things here. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in Niche history. All right, so first off, I'm going to head back 25 years ago today. As on this date 25 years ago today, the WWE would hold its 17th In Your House pay-per-view, Ground Zero, or the WWF at the time, World Wrestling Federation, from the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. The main event saw Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker go to a no contest. Bret Hart would retain the WWF Championship over the Patriot, Del Wilkes. The Headbangers would win a fatal four-way elimination match for the vacant WWF World Tag Team titles. Basically, at the end there, with Mosh getting the final pin on Owen after Steve Austin comes in and interferes and hits Owen with a Stone Cold Stunner. You had a minis match. Savio Vega defeated Crush and Farouk in a basically triple threat match that basically would lead to the whole faction wars that were happening back then, as Savio Vega and Crush were initially part of Farouk's Nation of Domination. Then they would go on and form their own factions, with Savio Vega with the Los Boricuas and Crush with the Disciples of Apocalypse, DOA. So those are probably the main ones. You had Brian Pillman defeating Goldust. So So that happened 25 years ago today, the Ground Zero pay-per-view from World Wrestling Federation. After that, of course, head back 20 years ago from today. As on this date, 20 years ago today, as soon as I can get to it, the Canadian animated series by George and Peggy Sampson, Toad Patrol, would make their American debut on Toon Disney on this date in 2000. So 20 years ago today, the Canadian animated series Toad Patrol would make their American debut on Toon Disney on this date 20 years ago. And finally, as we were talking about this particular comic and character earlier, it just so happens that we will get to talk about him a little bit more here. As on this date in 2011, which was 11 years ago today, the 140th issue of Usagi Yojimbo, who we were talking about earlier, that article earlier, Sam Sakai's the 140th issue, Usagi Yojimbo, from Dark Horse Comics, from their Maverick label, Maverick imprint, went on sale on this date back in 2011, 11 years ago, for $3.50. It was 24 pages. So on this date, 11 years ago today, the 140th issue of Usagi Yojimbo from Dark Horse, from their Maverick imprint, went on sale on this date. It just goes to show you just how popular that series really was. So with that, folks, I thank everybody for being here tonight. So just to remind everybody, of course, like I said, tomorrow we'll have, hopefully we'll have some more, as I said, accurate, detailed information on some of the drama going on AEW right now. Let's see, along with, of course, our other, and then on Friday, of course, Rick Piper from Cross Comics will be joining me, and we'll be starting our May of 1939 coverage of our historical comic retrospective, looking at, of course, the comics that went on sale from DC at that time, DC Comics. We'll be taking a quick peek at the first issue, Superman, of course, going through the notes and stuff. And also, we'll be learning a little bit about one of Superman's first recurring foes, the Ultra Humanite, starting in Action Comics 13, in which we'll probably be reading through, there was a 9-issue stretch there where Ultra Humanite made 6 appearances through those 9 issues of Action Comics from issue 13 to 21. But we'll be looking at that. So, anyways, I hope to catch everybody back here tomorrow. So, until then, bye.